We've all been captivated by the notion of extraterrestrial life, but what if I told you that some individuals right here on Earth claim to be more than human? That's right. They boldly declare that they are not from this planet or that they've had spine-chilling encounters with creatures not of this world. From a boy who vividly remembers his past life on Mars, to a man who insists he hails from an entirely different universe, these 20 individuals will send shivers down your spine. 20. The Russian boy from Mars. Meet Boris Kiprianovich, a Russian boy who claims to be so much more than your average human being, but a real Martian. This young boy from Volgograd, Russia, boldly declared that he hails from Mars and has been sent to Earth to protect us from the looming threat of nuclear annihilation. Sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi blockbuster, right? But hold on tight, because Boris's story is so fascinating and mind-blowing. Boris is no ordinary human as he claimed, because at the age of 4 months, he could speak words, and by 8 months, you could talk with him all day long. This strange young lad has taken social media by storm, captivating the masses with his outlandish theories and astonishing knowledge of astronomy. He insists that he lived a previous life on Mars alongside the enigmatic Martian residents who possess the ability to travel between galaxies. But Boris doesn't stop at merely sharing far-fetched tales. Oh no, he takes it to a whole new level. Boris claims to be one of the Indigo Children extraterrestrial beings reincarnated on Earth with a mission to protect humanity. It's like a superhero origin story straight from the stars. And if that's not enough to make your jaw drop, get ready to hear about Boris's mind-boggling spacecraft. This ingenious creation boasts 6 layers of mind-bending technology, with a solid metal exterior, a rubber-like layer, and even a special magnetic component. Activate that magnetic layer, and voila! Boris believes this intergalactic wonder can whisk us away to any corner of the universe. Buckle up, folks, because we're in for a cosmic joyride. Did you know that even Boris's mother has chimed in, sharing her own experiences that defy explanation? From his unusual birth to the attractive gaze of her newborn child, everything about Boris seemed anything but ordinary. It's like he came into this world with a cosmic secret hidden behind those captivating eyes. As time passed, Boris's extraordinary story faded from the public eye, leaving us wondering about his current whereabouts and the adventures he may be undertaking. Whether you choose to believe his tale or dismiss it as a fantastical flight of fancy, one thing's for certain: Boris's claim of being a true Martian has left an indelible mark on the world of ufology. 19. Man from Taured. This is undoubtedly one of the most intriguing and captivating stories of all time. It all began on a fateful day in July 1958 at Haneda Airport in Tokyo, Japan. A remarkable Caucasian man with a beard arrived and presented a passport from a country called Taured, a nation that, in our reality, does not exist. This enigmatic individual claimed that Taured had been a sovereign nation for over 1,000 years, situated between France and Spain. However, when officials showed him a map, he pointed to the location of Andorra, utterly bewildered that Taured was absent. To further add to the mystery, the man possessed currency from various European countries and had stamps in his passport indicating previous visits to Japan and other nations. The intrigue deepened when it was discovered that the hotel where he supposedly had a reservation, the company he was meant to meet, and even the bank that issued his checkbook had no records of him. Authorities detained him in a hotel room for further investigation, placing guards outside his door. But bafflingly, he vanished from the room despite being located several floors up with no balcony. Furthermore, his documents mysteriously disappeared from the airport security room. The perplexing circumstances surrounding this incident have given rise to numerous theories. Some speculate that the man was from a parallel universe, while others suggest he may have been a time traveler. In this alternate reality, Taured exists in place of Andorra. The sudden disappearance of this enigmatic man is often attributed to him unintentionally slipping back into his own dimension or time. 18. Marshall Applewhite. Born on May 17, 1931 in Spur, Texas, Applewhite's early years seemed pretty ordinary. He displayed remarkable talent for public speaking and music from a young age, eventually earning a master's degree in music with a focus on musical theater. But his career path was far from straightforward. In his pursuit of a professional singing career, Applewhite ventured to the bustling streets of New York City. Unfortunately, his dreams of becoming a renowned singer didn't quite pan out. Undeterred, he shifted gears and began teaching at the University of Alabama before heading the music department at a college in Houston. However, it was in 1972 that Applewhite's life took a drastic turn. That's when he crossed paths with Bonnie Nettles, a nurse with a keen interest in theosophy and biblical prophecies. This encounter proved to be a game changer as Nettles convinced Applewhite that they were both prophets mentioned in the Book of Revelation. And so, their shared belief set the stage for their transformative journey together. Applewhite and Nettles, viewing themselves as messengers with a divine mission, embarked on a nationwide journey, spreading their beliefs and gradually attracting a group of followers. They proclaimed that the Earth was destined to be recycled, and that they, along with their followers, needed to leave the planet to ascend to a higher spiritual realm. The pivotal moment came in 1997 with the appearance of the Hale-Bopp comet. Applewhite became convinced that this celestial phenomenon signaled their departure from Earth. He firmly believed that a spaceship trailing the comet would transport them to the next level of existence. 17. Peter Fauta. Get ready for a mind-blowing encounter that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Meet Peter Fauta, a young man who claims to have been abducted by extraterrestrials. It all began in 1988 when Peter was 33 years old. But here's where things get really interesting. His earliest memories of these encounters date back to when he was only 8 years old. Peter vividly describes these otherworldly beings with pear-shaped heads and almond-shaped eyes, straight out of a sci-fi thriller. What's even more fascinating is the strange sense of familiarity he felt with them, adding another layer of mystery to this incredible tale. Seeking answers, Peter turned to psychiatrist Johnny Mack, who believed there was more to these memories than meets the eye. Through relaxation techniques and regression therapy, shocking details of Peter's abductions began to emerge. Imagine being physically lifted and transported through a window into a spacecraft, the suspense becoming unbearable as Peter found himself in a whole new world far from Earth. But the surprises didn't end there. These extraterrestrial visitors allegedly showed him movies and pictures, offering a glimpse into their otherworldly lives. It was like being caught up in a cosmic blockbuster, with twists and turns at every corner. What makes Peter's story even more captivating is his own skepticism. He struggled to accept the idea of being a part of something so extraordinary. However, when he connected with other abductees who shared similar experiences, the suspense reached its peak. Like a puzzle coming together, a bigger picture unfolded, both thrilling and unsettling. 16. Dean Lindsay. This young man, born on February 3, 1937, in Bullock, Switzerland, claims that he has had encounters with extraterrestrial beings since he was just 5 years old. According to him, one of his early encounters was with an elderly entity named Spath, who communicated with him using telepathy and supposedly took him aboard a metallic pear-shaped craft. Billy believes that these experiences were meant to enhance his mental development and prepare him for his life's work. Throughout his life, Billy continued to report contact with various extraterrestrial entities. He mentioned a female entity named Dasset, who provided instructions to him for over a decade. It wasn't just meetings and conversations that Billy claimed to have experienced. He also asserted that he was taken back in time to witness significant historical events. However, these extraordinary encounters and travels had a significant impact on Billy's life. He became isolated from others and was targeted by bullies during his youth due to his unusual preoccupations. Despite the challenges, Billy's belief in extraterrestrial creatures remained steadfast. He even documented his experiences in a book, which allegedly contains over 24,000 transmissions he received from extraterrestrials. 15. Betty and Barney Hill. Let's take you back to the night of September 19, 1961, when something extraordinary happened to Betty and Barney Hill, a newlywed couple from Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Little did they know that their encounter would go down in history as one of the most famous and extensively documented alleged alien abductions ever recorded. As they were driving home from their honeymoon, traversing the scenic White Mountains of New Hampshire on their way back from Montreal and Niagara Falls, something bizarre caught their attention. Up in the sky, they noticed a mysterious object with flashing lights. Betty, using her binoculars, observed a spinning craft in the air, while Barney, initially skeptical and a practical man with an impressive IQ, was taken aback by the sight of a large, round, flat object hovering just above the treetops. Curiosity got the better of them, and Barney cautiously stepped out of the car to get a closer look. What he saw startled him even more: figures in gray uniforms behind rows of windows on the craft. Overwhelmed with panic, Barney quickly returned to the car. As they drove away, they heard rhythmic beeping sounds emanating from the car's trunk. Their next recollection was being 35 miles down the road with a 2-hour gap in their memory. Arriving home, they discovered unexplained damages to their car and clothes. Both experienced unusual impulses and sensations that they couldn't explain. Seeking answers, the Hills turned to hypnosis in the following years. Under hypnosis, they recounted being taken aboard a spacecraft, separated from each other, and subjected to physical experiments by the beings they encountered. They described these beings as having grayish skin, dressed in uniforms, and conducting various tests on them, such as collecting hair, nail samples, and skin scrapes. The Hills' story gained public attention when it was reported by a newspaper in 1965. Despite ongoing attempts to debunk or explain the incident, their account remains one of the most compelling and convincing alien stories to this day. 14. Nina Kulagina. Nina Kulagina is a Russian woman who gained fame for her supposed psychic abilities, particularly in the realm of psychokinesis. Born in 1926, Kulagina's unique talents captured the attention of researchers, and she became the subject of academic study in the Soviet Union during the last 2 decades of her life. Kulagina's journey began when she joined the Red Army's tank regiment at the tender age of 14 during World War II. After the war, she settled into the role of a housewife. However, it was in the 1960s that she burst onto the international stage. Silent black and white films, produced under controlled conditions by Soviet authorities, showcased Kulagina seemingly moving objects without physical contact. This astonishing display of psychokinetic phenomena sparked excitement among psychic researchers worldwide, and many began to view her as a being from another realm. Of course, not everyone was convinced of Kulagina's powers. Skeptics suggested that her abilities were mere tricks, attributing them to the use of magnets and threads. Nonetheless, despite the skepticism, a significant number of people believed that Kulagina possessed extraordinary extraterrestrial powers. The mysterious nature of Nina Kulagina's story continues to captivate the imagination of those interested in psychic phenomena. Whether you perceive her as a gifted individual with supernatural abilities or a master of illusion, her impact on the field of psychic research remains undeniable. 13. Calvin Parker and Charles Hixon. On the evening of October 11, 1973, Calvin Parker and his friend Charles Hixon had an extraordinary experience that changed their lives forever. They claimed to have been abducted by aliens while fishing near Pascagoula, Mississippi. Following their alleged encounter, Parker and Hixon found themselves thrust into the center of a media storm. At the Jackson County Sheriff's Department, they were questioned separately and then left alone in a room, unaware that their conversation was being secretly recorded. This recording, capturing their discussions about the experience and expressing their fear, played a crucial role in convincing authorities and others that their story held some credibility. The case garnered the attention of renowned UFO researchers and investigators, including Dr. Alan Hynek and Dr. James Harder, who traveled to Pascagoula to interview and hypnotize Parker and Hixon. Despite undergoing polygraph tests, voice stress tests, and multiple hypnosis sessions, many people remained skeptical of their story. Furthermore, the incident had a profound impact on Parker's life. He lost his job, faced constant media attention, and even changed his name in an attempt to avoid recognition and the associated scrutiny. 12. Elizabeth Clarer. Elizabeth Clarer's story is about to take you on a wild ride of extraterrestrial encounters and intergalactic romance. Back in 1956, Elizabeth, a South African native, had an experience she could never forget. She claimed to have come face to face with weird creatures. It all went down on her family's farm, where she spotted a disc-shaped spaceship hovering silently in the sky. Just like those grainy footage of Bigfoot or blurry Loch Ness monster pics, Elizabeth's alleged evidence of extraterrestrial existence remained unverified. The skeptics were quick to dismiss her claims, leaving us hungry for more proof. Now, fast forward 2 years, and the plot thickens. Elizabeth claimed to have had a day-long rendezvous with an extraterrestrial named Aeon on the high plateau of Cathkin Peak. In 1959, she was supposedly whisked away to Aeon's home planet, Meon, in the Alpha Centauri star system. According to her, Meon was a utopian paradise with no cities or skyscrapers. Imagine a world where necessities like food and water were abundant and money was as useless as a broken spaceship. Unfortunately, due to health issues related to the planet's vibrations, she had to bid adieu to her extraterrestrial utopia and return to good on Earth. Now, here's where the story takes a twist. Some UFO enthusiasts believed Elizabeth's claims, especially those tantalizing photographs. They thought she might be onto something big. 11. Alex Kier. Get ready for an epic tale that's sure to raise some eyebrows and ignite a lively debate in the UFO community. This is Alex Culler, also known as Alex Kier, a former US soldier with a story that's as intriguing as it is controversial. According to Kier, he's had some pretty wild encounters with extraterrestrial beings from the Andromeda galaxy. Real Andromedans. He claims to have interacted extensively with these otherworldly creatures, and boy has it formed the basis of his talks and writings. Now, Kier's extraterrestrial adventures didn't start when he was a grown-up. Oh no, they go way back to when he was just a child in 1964. But it wasn't until 1989 that things got really mind-boggling. He says he spent a whopping 92 days aboard an Andromedan mothership. What's interesting is that Kier insists that although it felt like nearly 3 months in alien time, it was only 18 minutes here on Earth. Time sure flies when you're cruising through the cosmos. So, what did Kier encounter on this intergalactic joyride? Well, he claims to have met beings with all sorts of appearances, a wise old short man and a tall, blue-skinned youngster, to name a few. And the spacecraft itself? Hold on to your hats! Kier says it was a mind-boggling 900 meters long with a whopping 24 levels. Kier insists that the ship operated under different physical laws, making the inside appear much larger than the outside. It's like a cosmic TARDIS, defying the rules of space and time. Naturally, Kier's stories have stirred up quite a debate within the UFO community. Some folks are fascinated and eager to learn more, while others remain skeptical. But one thing's for sure. Whether you believe every word or not, Kier's extraterrestrial escapades are something to ponder and discuss. 10. Claude Maurice Marcel Voron. Claude Maurice Marcel Voron, better known as Rael, is a figure whose life story blends elements of science fiction and religious prophecy. Before becoming the leader of the Raelian movement, Voron worked as a sports car journalist and test driver. However, in 1973, his life took an extraordinary turn when he claimed to have had an encounter with extraterrestrial beings. According to Rael, these beings, whom he referred to as the Elohim, were advanced human scientists from another planet. He asserted that they were responsible for creating all life on Earth through DNA manipulation, approximately 25,000 years ago. This narrative deviates significantly from traditional religious texts by proposing a technological origin for humanity rather than a supernatural one. In Rael's interpretation, biblical events such as the Garden of Eden and Noah's Ark are reimagined as alien scientific experiments. Rael asserted that he was appointed as the Elohim's ambassador on Earth, with the task of spreading their message and preparing for their eventual return. One of his endeavors involved constructing an embassy in neutral territory. In his second book, titled Extraterrestrials Took Me to Their Planet, Rael detailed his purported experiences with these beings, including encounters with significant religious figures such as Buddha, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad. Under Rael's guidance, the International Raelian Movement was founded. The movement holds the belief that extraterrestrials played a fundamental role in the creation of all life on Earth. Rael's story offers a unique perspective that challenges traditional religious narratives and presents an alternative understanding of humanity's origins. It sparks contemplation about the possibilities of extraterrestrial involvement in our existence and invites individuals to explore different interpretations of religious and scientific phenomena. I'm Veno Vinnie. Let's begin with the unbelievable story of Veno Vinnie, an individual from Los Angeles who identifies as neither male nor female. Vinnie has started off on a transformative journey, investing a significant amount in plastic surgeries to attain a physical appearance that aligns with their inner identity as an alien being. While this narrative may differ from those previously discussed, it is no less captivating. Starting at the age of 17, Vinnie began their transformation by undergoing lip fillers, gradually progressing to more extensive procedures. These included multiple rhinoplasties, brow bone fillers, facial peels, cryofacial freezing, and more. These interventions aim to embody what Vinnie describes as a sexless and genderless entity, resonating more with an extraterrestrial identity than a human one. Undoubtedly, the financial commitment associated with these surgeries has been substantial. Reports indicate that Vinnie has already spent over $50,000 on these procedures, and they are even planning to invest further in their transformation. 8. Gil Perez. Now let's talk about Gil Perez. This story takes us to Southeast Asia in the Philippines. Gil was a Spanish soldier in the Philippines. One day in October 1593, something strange happened to him. Suddenly, he found himself in Mexico City, thousands of kilometers away. Nobody could explain how he got there. The story begins with the assassination of Governor Gomez Perez das Marinas in the Philippines. Gil, who had been a soldier for over 20 years, was reportedly guarding the Palacio del Gobernador in Manila when the governor was killed. The next day, to everyone's surprise, he was found in Mexico City's Plaza Meyer, still wearing his uniform from Manila. His knowledge of the governor's assassination, which was not yet known in Mexico City, led to suspicions that he had deserted or was involved in something supernatural. As a result, he was imprisoned. The credibility of Gil's incredible journey gained support when a Spanish galleon from the Philippines arrived in Mexico a few months later. This confirmed his story about the governor's assassination. The authorities were puzzled by how Gil could have traveled such a long distance, but they eventually released him. He was sent back to Manila to continue his duties. However, the mystery of how he ended up in Mexico City remained unsolved. There are many theories about what happened to Gil. Some people think he was abducted by aliens who transported him to Mexico. Others believe there may be interdimensional portals, especially considering the historical and cultural importance of Mexico City. Despite its enduring popularity, it's difficult to find historical evidence to verify Gil's story. The first written account of his journey appeared in 1698 in a book by Friar Gaspar de San Agustin, who believed witchcraft was involved. Later, Dr. Antonio de Morga briefly mentioned the story in his historical works, noting the coincidence of the news of the governor's death reaching Mexico City on the same day. 7. King Tutankhamun. Let's talk about King Tutankhamun, also known as King Tut, who may have had a connection to extraterrestrials. In King Tut's tomb, archaeologist Howard Carter discovered a dagger in 1925 that caught everyone's attention. This dagger is unique because its blade is made of iron, which is believed to have come from a meteorite. That's why it's sometimes called the extraterrestrial dagger. In ancient times, iron was a rare and valuable material, even more precious than gold. The earliest iron objects in Egypt were thought to be made from metal that came from meteorites. The composition of King Tut's iron dagger, with its high nickel content, closely resembles that of meteoric iron, which is different from iron found on Earth. Modern scientific techniques like portable X-ray fluorescent spectrometry were used to confirm that the composition of the dagger matches that of a meteorite discovered near Mersa Matruh, Egypt. However, there are still many mysteries surrounding the creation and origin of this dagger. Even with scientific advancements, we don't have all the answers about this intriguing artifact and its potential connection to extraterrestrial materials. 6. Billy Meyer. The story of Dean Lindsay and his claim on extraterrestrial real estate is indeed intriguing and unconventional. On June 15, 1936, Lindsay made audacious assertions of ownership over all extraterrestrial objects. He went to the extent of sending a letter, along with a deed and money, to a Pittsburgh notary public in an attempt to establish his ownership. His actions garnered public attention, and some individuals even sent him offers to purchase objects from him. However, it's important to note that Lindsay's claim, along with similar claims made by other individuals and organizations over the years, holds no legal standing under international law. The Outer Space Treaty of 1967 and the Moon Treaty of 1979 explicitly prohibit private ownership of extraterrestrial real estate. These treaties establish that outer space and celestial bodies are the common heritage of all humankind and cannot be appropriated by any individual or entity. Even if, hypothetically, private ownership of extraterrestrial property were to become legal, the complexities of extraterrestrial law would likely surpass those of our earthly legal systems. Acquiring property here on Earth is challenging enough, and navigating the legal intricacies of extraterrestrial territories would likely present even greater difficulties. Subscriber's Pick. Today's subscriber's pick poses us with this weird image that stops us in our tracks. A bizarre-looking alien creature engrossed in reading a book. Whose identity is this, and why does it look so integrated with human affairs? Maybe we have these weird beings living among us. No wonder George Adamsky meticulously captured a photo of them, causing heavy uproar and more perplexity about what we know aliens to be. But he is not the only one. A whole lot of others have testified the same. What drives these brave truth-seekers to share their extraordinary origins? origins? Are they mere dreamers lost in their imagination? Or are we on the precipice of a cosmic revelation? Open your mind, for the truth awaits. Tell us in the comment section which of these revelations enthralls you the most and what you think about them. 5. Foooh Einon. Foooh Einon, one of ancient Egypt's most enigmatic rulers, has fascinated historians for a long time. While several pharaohs displayed peculiar characteristics, Einon stood out as the most intriguing. Representations of Einon depict them with androgynous features, including wide hips, an elongated head, almond-shaped eyes, and a prominent jawline. These depictions sharply contrast the traditional and idealized portrayals of pharaohs in ancient Egyptian art. The significant deviation from the norm has led to various speculations about the reasons behind these distinctive representations. While some theories suggest artistic interpretation or simple biological factors, many people believe that Einon's unusual appearance is connected to extraterrestrial beings. It is worth noting that ancient Egypt itself is a civilization that has long been associated with the possibility of life beyond Earth. 4. The Ashtar Galactic Command. The Ashtar Galactic Command is not a single person, but rather an entity or group of entities that supposedly communicate with humans through various channels. One notable figure in the UFO contactee movement, George Van Tassel, claimed to have received messages from Ashtar as early as 1952. Initially, the messages from Ashtar focused more on intervening in human scientific development rather than providing spiritual guidance. However, as the movement grew, the teachings of Ashtar began to incorporate more spiritual dimensions, aligning with the narratives of ascended masters. One of the most well-known events associated with the Ashtar Galactic Command occurred in 1977 during a Southern television broadcast interruption in the UK. During a news program, an audio message claiming to be from Voron of the Ashtar Galactic Command interrupted the regular programming. This message spoke about the importance of peace and disarmament, and warned about the destiny of the human race. The incident caused quite a stir, leaving many people alarmed and confused. Over time, the messages from Ashtar evolved. In the 1950s to 1960s, they focused more on the physical arrival of extraterrestrial spacecraft to assist humans. However, as the predicted events did not occur, the teachings shifted towards a more spiritual emphasis, involving transformation and spiritual evolution. The Ashtar Galactic Command movement has experienced internal conflicts, failed prophecies, and changes in direction. Despite these challenges, its believers continue to spread their claims and beliefs. 3. Travis Walton. This is the story of the mysterious case of Travis Walton, the logger who vanished into thin air in November 1975. Travis and his crew were hard at work in the Apache Sitgreaves National Forests when they claimed to have seen a UFO hovering above them. And guess what? Before you could say, "Beam me up," Travis gets zapped by a bright light from the craft and vanishes into thin air. But fasten your seatbelts, folks, because the story doesn't end there. 5 days later, Travis reappears with a wild tale of being aboard an alien spaceship. He spills the beans about getting all examined by strange alien creatures and even encountering human-like beings on the spacecraft. He describes walking into a room that's like a planetarium, filled with stars and all that jazz. Talk about a bizarre sightseeing tour. Now, at first, our buddy Travis thought these encounters were as hostile as a Hollywood alien invasion. Can you blame the guy? But over time, he starts to think that maybe, just maybe, it was a rescue mission gone wrong. Like, "Sorry, Travis, our bad. Didn't mean to zap you with our spaceship laser." Of course, this whole incident became a media frenzy. Reporters are all over it like flies on a picnic, and the police even get involved. They put the logging crew through lie detector tests to see if they harmed Travis. Travis has been quite vocal about his experience, sharing his frustration with the skeptics and non-believers. He thinks that his story, along with the government's recent acknowledgement of UFO encounters, is a sign that extraterrestrial encounters are, like, totally real, man. He argues that the vastness of the universe makes it close-minded to brush off the possibility of life beyond Earth. But here's the kicker, folks. Despite all the media coverage and investigations, the Travis Walton incident remains a mystery. Was it a legit encounter with extraterrestrials or just a dude pulling off an out-of-this-world prank? We're still scratching our heads and waiting for the truth to beam down to us. Until then, keep your eyes on the skies and watch out for any suspicious loggers. You never know who might be a secret alien in disguise. 2. Simon Parkes. Simon Parkes is a former British city councillor who has shared accounts of his encounters with extraterrestrial beings. It may come as a surprise given his background as a councillor in Whitby. Parkes claims to have had various encounters with aliens starting from a young age. He believes that his biological mother is a 9-foot-tall alien with 8 fingers and recalls his first encounter with her when he was just 6 months old. According to Parkes, this alien entity communicated with him telepathically, asserting her role as his more important mother. Parkes' experiences with extraterrestrials didn't end there. He asserts that he has had numerous encounters throughout his life, including being taken aboard an alien spacecraft at the age of 11. One of his most extraordinary claims is that he fathered a child with an extraterrestrial being he refers to as the Cat Queen. He has shared these claims in various interviews and documentaries, such as the Anomalous Mind Management Abductee Contactee Helpline Project. Despite these experiences, Parkes insists that his involvement with extraterrestrials hasn't hindered his ability to fulfill his duties as a counselor. He states that his focus has always been on addressing local issues, such as fixing leaking roofs and potholes, rather than solely on extraterrestrial encounters. Interestingly, Parkes is not the only politician who believes in extraterrestrials. Paul Hellyer, Canada's former Minister of National Defence, also shares a belief in the existence of aliens and UFOs. Like Parkes, Hellyer has spoken about the presence of various alien species with different agendas visiting Earth for thousands of years. 1. George Adamsky. Let's take a journey into the peculiar world of George Adamsky, a controversial figure in ufology. Born in Poland in 1891 and later migrating to the United States, Adamsky claimed to have witnessed a massive cigar-shaped mothership during a meteor shower in the 1940s. This marked the beginning of his alleged connection to extraterrestrials. He claimed multiple UFO sightings and even took photographs of what he believed were alien spacecraft. In 1952, Adamsky said he met a Venusian creature named Orthon in the Colorado desert, describing him as a blonde-haired humanoid who communicated telepathically. Adamsky authored books detailing his adventures with beings from Venus, Mars, and Saturn, emphasizing their concerns about humanity's destructive ways. Critics questioned the inconsistencies and scientific inaccuracies in his stories, casting doubt on his claims and photographs. Nevertheless, Adamsky remains a prominent figure in ufology. Ultimately, it's up to you to decide what to believe, but I think extraterrestrial beings might prefer to keep their presence a cosmic secret. Thank you, and see you in the next video.